Welcome to Dodgers Daily Down on the Farm. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Hey, it's always a great day to be a Dodger. The big Dodgers are on a roll. We will get into more of them tonight in our live show with Coach Barakoff. We'll talk all about the Atlanta series and get you caught up with Los Angeles Dodgers. Everything going on. Plus, we talked about them quite a bit in our live show yesterday with Austin. So today it's going to be all about the pups down on the farm. And we are going to start like we always do at Single A Rancho Cucamonga. It was Saturday night in the big town of Rancho, and Yunsok Yang was on display. And let's freaking go. Yunsok Yang, we know, great size. I mean, he's tall, long, he has long levers, and a tremendous amount of ability. That fastball you're seeing is about 96 miles an hour. He has really, really nice off-speed stuff, so the stuff is very big, and the deal with him is just get the ball in the strike zone. I mean, he has walked a lot of guys this year, but whenever he has done like he did last night and kept the ball in the strike zone and given himself a chance, he's shoved. So this is a guy that he will figure out the command part of things. No doubt he will figure out the control part of things as far as getting the ball in the strike zone to begin with, and then when he does, he's going to be the exciting pitching prospect that we've been hearing about for quite a while. Fastball, curveball, big slider, hard slider, changeup, velo in the 96 range. So there's a lot to like here. Like I said, the long levers, the good velo, the big mix. He is definitely 100% a Rolodex type of dude. So definitely every time that Yunsok Yang pitches, check in, because we'll try to have as many updates on him as we can. And last night was maybe his best outing of the year, his longest outing of the year. And so, yes, I would go ahead and say it was his best outing. Alex Makarowicz, we've been talking about him a lot lately. He was hitting 97 miles an hour consistently. The first pitch of the night he threw up to home plate that he threw south was 96, and then he was hitting 97 consistently with a good slider, good secondaries. This right there, you saw it. This is a guy I keep saying he has Rolodex type stuff that is really mastering he has 7 walks on the year, so there's still a ways to go in terms of mastering the strike zone and strike throwing. That is definitely a point of emphasis. Same with Yunsok Yang, same with most young pitchers. Now, it's a little bit of an anomaly this year for Rancho because they have guys like Sean-Paul Yean and Nicholas Cruz that are really, really good strike throwers. But for the most part, there's Elijah hanging line. Not a boy, nice play, Elijah. Usually a shortstop, second baseman from Oregon State. Went to Wazoo originally. But Alex Makarowicz, big-time stuff. He will hit 100 in a game. He has not done it yet. He has hit 100 in a bullpen. Hasn't done it in a game yet. So keep your eyes on Alex Makarowicz, because I'm telling you, this guy has Rolodex-type stuff. Just putting all the pieces together, and he's doing it very quickly here in 2025. And this is Yulbron Herder. It's actually spelled Herder, but it's pronounced Herder. Talk about keeping your fans on their seats last night. I mean, it was like watching somebody try to break a bull, right? I mean, he didn't walk anybody, but he hit a batter. He threw one to the screen on a wild pitch, and it was like if you're a hitter, if you've watched the Bull Durham. And he wasn't that wild because he didn't walk anybody. But it's still that same, whenever you see a wild pitch, you see a hit batsman, it's like the Nuke LaLoosh type of deal. Don't settle in. I don't know where the hell it's going, all right? Don't get too comfortable. So there was a certain amount of effectively wild to it, but he did a really good job, other than a couple of those times where it got loose, of staying in the strike zone and throwing a huge slider. See that? There, he liked that one. That is a huge slider right there. And another thing about him, as I was communicating with his pitching coach, Ramon Troncoso, who pitched in the Dodgers organization, has major league experience. And literally the first thing he said about Herder is that he is super, super, super competitive. And you can see that competitive nature coming out in him right here. He's working fast. He's trying to gather momentum for himself. He's enjoying the positive moments. He's moving past the negative moments and just throwing the next pitch. So good feel for the strike zone for Herder. There's that nice slider. Fastball, slider, cutter, and change. Velo is 92 to 94. and he has two different types of fastballs. He has both the sinker and the four seam. So good job there by Yolbron Air there, I should say. That's how you pronounce his name. And then Nicholas Cruz came up on April 20th. And hey, just like his name says, he has been in absolute cruise control since he got called up on that date, April 20. Last night he finished a 2-hit shutout for Rancho, a combined 2-hit shutout for the Quakes. And like I said, he's been very good. 4 outings, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk, has given up just 1 hit. Wow, great job, Nicholas Cruz. So what you're seeing here is a fastball that's 95 to 97. He has a sinker that's 95 to 96. So just like Air there, he has both the four seam and the sinker. He has a change at 84 to 87. So that split is right there at that 10-mile-an-hour mark. So you start with good velo at 95 to 97 with Nicholas Cruz. That's good to begin with. Then you have the perfect split of 10 miles an hour off of that with his changeup at 84 to 87. And then he bridges the middle of that. So he bridges between the fastball and then the 10-mile-an-hour difference. They call that a bridge. His bridge is a slider, which means it's in between those two pitches at 86 to 88. So he has a good fastball that has good velo. He has the changeup that's at a really, really nice differential as far as 10 miles an hour off. And then he has the bridge in the middle of those two. So that's pretty impressive, and I think that probably goes a long ways as to why he has been so good since he got called up on April the 20th for Rancho. Now, I wanted to show you this offensively. What a fun play. See that sinker? I'm going to back that up. Watch how this pitch is sinking. Wow, nice job going down and getting it right there by the 20-year-old rook right there, Jiren Elkins, young man who played all of last year at the complex. He was drafted out of high school out of Madison, Tennessee. And then second pitch of the at-bat, he steals second. And then the next pitch after that, consecutive pitches, he steals third. So he gets a base hit on a sinker down the zone, steals second, next pitch steals third, and then does this right here. He scores a run literally by himself. He got a base hit, stole second and third, and then scored on a wild pitch. So that was a lot of fun. That was a very fun sequence, and I definitely wanted to show you that because I just enjoy the dynamics of the younger players that the Dodgers have developed in their system, just the athletic ability. And Jiren Elkins, he's at the top of that list. Elkins, this is a team in Rancho that has 63 stolen bases, and that is 10 more stolen bases than the team that's close, the next team that's closest to them, which is Fresno. They have 10 less stolen bases as the second place team. So that goes to show you how many stolen bases the Quakes have, and Jiren Elkins is at the top of their list. You're talking about Eduardo Quintero. You're talking about Kellen Lindsey. It's Jiren Elkins at the top of the list in stolen bases for Rancho Cucamonga with 15, just to go to show you his great athletic ability. As we move now up to the high A Great Lakes level here, this is left-handed reliever Robinson Ortiz. Good fastball there. Big slider. So this is a guy, Robinson Ortiz, if you followed along, we say this every time we talk about him. This guy is a guy that him and Carlos Duran, who, by the way, just got traded for Esteury Ruiz, and Carlos Duran got called up to the major leagues just the other day. Him and Carlos Duran were really big deals like back in 2021. Both of them have been just fighting Tommy Johns. They've been fighting injury. They haven't been able to stay healthy. Finally, Robinson Ortiz, La Bronita, is healthy again, and he's showing why people were so excited about him last time, more as far as earlier in his career, because he's pitching really well. But beyond that, I don't even want to talk about that. He is literally the reason why Dodgers Daily was created. So you have these stories of guys of perseverance. You have these stories of guys that just won't quit. They just keep going. They just make their minds up to overcome anything and everything that is thrown their way. That is Robinson Ortiz. That is why Dodgers Daily exists. So we can tell the stories of guys like him that otherwise would never be told. And I'm very proud of that mission, because to get the word out of guys like Robinson Ortiz who deserve it. They deserve the credit that they get from this side, or they deserve some credit, I should say, and they should deserve the notoriety for the great grind and work they've done. So congratulations, Robinson Ortiz, on a great outing last night. And this is Ronaldo Yean. Remember, Ronaldo hit 105 last year in a game. According to John Vicari, play-by-play, one of the play-by-play voices of the Loons. That's Cole Myers, by the way. We're going to talk about him here in a minute. He had a good day yesterday. Yesterday was the first time in 2025 that Ronaldo Yean has hit triple digits at Dow Diamond. So that was really cool. And then also, as you're going to see in this video, he was throwing a really nice cutter. His cutter was able to steal pitches. That's his slider there. So because he had the cutter, he was able to throw that for strikes. And then he was able to use his slider. There's his cutter there. Used his cutter to steal strikes. That allowed him then to bury his slider. And there's another cutter to bury his slider out of the zone. And then that matches that four seam there that has just natural ride and run. That pitch, that fastball you just saw, was 100 miles an hour. So you had the 100 miles an hour ride and run fastball of Ronaldo Yean. You had the smaller cutter there stealing strikes, and you had the bigger slider that was getting below the barrels and diving into the dirt. That is quite a powerful arsenal. Just like all these young power arms, for him, it's absolutely going to come down to, can he master the strike zone? And so we will keep an eye on that. And this is Cole Myers right here. Heck of a day, doubleheader for Great Lakes, and in the minor leagues, if you have a doubleheader, it's 7 innings. But heck of a day for the Troy Trojan. He walked twice in the first game of the doubleheader. He stole 2 bases and has 7 stolen bases on the year now. And then he walked twice and scored the only run for the Loons. In the second game then, he got 2 hits. He got his 3rd double of the year, and he was on base 3 times. So this is a young man, Cole Myers, that has a lot of talent, great speed, is off to a little bit of a slow start. So hopefully this could be a good jump start for Cole Myers. Again, the 4th outfielder for the Great Lakes Loons. No doubt about it. You have Kendall George, Zaire Hope, and Josue DePaula. Then you have Cole Myers as your 4th outfielder. So hopefully yesterday's good day in the doubleheader can be a jump start for Cole Myers. We're going to go ahead and go up to the AA level right now. This is Lucas Wepf. We've talked about him a couple of times. He developed a lot of momentum last year. Early on, it was a little bit of a struggle down the stretch, but look at that competitive element to him. This dude has lots of knees and elbows, man. I mean, it's just right there. As a hitter, you're just seeing elbows, you're seeing knees, you're seeing everything but the ball. And even as a left-hander, see how uncomfortable that is? I mean, that left-hander's looking at that pitch like, I never saw it. That's why they're late. I mean, it's like, how did I miss that? See that uncomfortable look there? And the hitter's reactions are like, I'm just not seeing the pitch. And there's one that he actually stayed on and was able to hit a fly ball to left field. So, hey, when you give the ball to Lucas Wepf and it's late in the game, that's Jose Ramos that caught that. Just sit back, get you some popcorn, get you a drink. Look at that nice little slider. And enjoy it, because Lucas Wepf is must-see TV because he's so competitive. He has that splinker, which is the split finger and sinker combined. So that's super fun as well for Lucas Wepf at the AA level. And then as far as offensively, it was another walk-off, and we're going to show you the walk-off here in a second. But really the only highlight offensively for the AA Tulsa Drillers last night was this young man right here who hit a home run. And actually, I'm going to get to it right here. Aaron Bracho hit a home run right here. Wow, that is mammoth. Hey, how about that? Look at the crowd. That is a sellout crowd for AA Tulsa. Almost 8,000 people there for the AA Drillers. Tulsa leads the Texas League almost every year in attendance. And hey, Oklahoma City's had great crowd so far this year. Oklahoma City had close to 8,000 people last night. So in the state of Oklahoma, you had over 15,000 people watching Dodgers baseball last night. How awesome is that? Tulsa actually had 500 more people in the stands than Oklahoma City did. Although, hey, like I said, I was very proud of the Oklahoma City crowd. It was on Spectrum. But it's hard to beat a sellout, which is exactly what the AA Tulsa Drillers had last night. So that was a good job there by Aaron Bracho. He gave something. He gave all these fans that showed up something to cheer about, and that was a lot of fun to watch. And then also another reliever in this game was Kelvin Bautista, I always like watching Kelvin. I always like watching him pitch because he has such fun, competitive, positive energy. And man, last night he didn't need any of it. He got in the rocking chair, throwing 2 scoreless innings for Double-A Tulsa. Didn't give up a hit or a walk. It's called, hey, of course they didn't have a lead, but those middle innings just make the game boring and get it either to the end of the game where you're giving your offense a chance to catch up and win the game, which the Drillers did, or you're making the game boring to preserve a lead. So last night for Kelvin Bautista, who you're seeing here, was the 3rd scoreless outing in a row for him and 5th out of his last 6. So when you have an exciting finish, like I said, you want to forget that you had, just kind of the ho-hum middle inning relief outings. Don't forget the job that Kelvin Bautista did last night for Double-A Tulsa and getting in the rocking chair, getting the game to the late innings to where Tulsa could come up with the fireworks that I'm getting ready to show you here in just a second. So this is Taylor Young at second base. Jose Ramos is at the plate. And typically speaking, what you teach your runners at second base, if the ball is in front of you, see right here, watch this ball get hit. This ball is squarely in front of Taylor Young right here. So typically speaking, hitters are taught if the ball is hit in front of you, you stay put because then the shortstop can field the ball, throw to base, and throw to third base and get you out. And a lot of times, especially if it's to the shortstop's right, that might be the only play because it's so far for them to go to the right and throw it to first base, and you're giving them a short throw at third base to get you out. So typically speaking, with the ball in front of you, you don't advance. But Taylor Young did. Why? 1, because he's fast. 2, because he knew the situation. See, he didn't hesitate. He knew that Tulsa was, all they needed was 1 run. So that run, getting to third base with less than 2 outs was absolutely huge. So the key here, he knew what he was going to do on the base pass before the pitch was thrown. This is key for any of you young people playing the game that may be watching this. Know what you're going to do with the ball. Know what you're going to do on the base pass before the play is put into action. Don't try to figure it out once the ball has been put into play. Or you got to already know what you're going to do. That's why guys like Taylor Young can take third base on balls like that. On when really fundamentally you teach your base runners not to do that, unless you're Taylor Young and you have a total amount of trust that he absolutely knows what he's doing. So that was the second walk-off on consecutive nights. The Drillers had a walk-off Friday night on an error. Then they had a walk-off on that wild pitch there, and it was the same pitcher both nights in a row. They had 3 walk-offs just this week, and the Tulsa Drillers have 5 walk-offs on the year. So how fun is that? It was a really fun night with a sold-out crowd last night in T-Town for the Double-A Tulsa Drillers. So a lot of fun for that team that is kind of up and down. They got off to a slow start. They have a lot of players that have a lot of talent, but a lot of players that kind of go up and down. And so it's been fun to watch them win some really grinders this week. And as we move to AAA Oklahoma City, this is Justin Wrobleski. I had a chance to communicate with him a little bit yesterday. And, we kind of talked about the fact that this game was going to be on Spectrum. The Dodgers game was going to have rain. So a lot of LA fans were going to have eyes on him because they've heard of him. They obviously have heard of him because he's pitched for LA. So he was going to have a lot of LA Dodgers fans watching him last night. And he put on a pretty good show, especially for the first 4 innings. He gave up absolutely no runs. And he had moments to where he made things look fairly easily. But then like in the second, he had the bases loaded, got out of that. He had the bases loaded again in the 4th, gave up 1 run there. So he got out of crisis moments pretty well. And when you have the bases loaded twice and you only give up 1 run combined between the 2, you did a pretty good job. And then also, like you said there, he did not give up a run through the first 4 innings and then gave up single runs in the 5th and then the 6th. So I would have to say 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. 6 innings, 2 runs. You will take that every day and twice on Sundays. 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. And the exciting part of this, I'm telling you, there's still quite a bit of a better version of Justin Wrobleski out there. I think he would be the first one to say that, despite the fact that last night definitely was a quality start. So, hey, that's going to do it for our Dodgers Daily Down the Farm. I want to remind you that Coach Bearkoff and I will be live tonight after the Dodgers game on Sunday Night Baseball in the ATL against the Braves. The Dodgers are going for their third victory in a row. They squeaked out a 2-1 the other night, then played really good offense last night. So that's going to do it. I want to thank you for tuning in and remind you that you Dodgers dogs are the absolute best. I would not want to do any of this without you. And as always, it is a great day to be a Dodger.